Alright, boys, welcome back for the September GP Killing Speed Phoenix. Might have noticed this video is coming out a little later than my typical monthly uploads. Just wanted to take a little bit of time off and not have to worry about making this video, because if you read the title, well, this month didn't exactly go according to plan. But you can't really plan rental carts, can you? Here's the standings for this, coming into this month, and we still have a 12-point gap against Giovanni and Connor, but that gap is closing in very, very quickly. It's been kind of closing in throughout the year, but sometimes I'm surprised that I'm still in the lead. As you can see, our 2024 stats into this year so far, I've actually had 5 podiums. I know one of those was a Group B race, but listen, stats are stats, numbers are numbers, you can't lie about those. 2 wins, 3 poles, overtaken 9 total positions. I've been overtaken 5 times, and yeah, like I was just mentioning, I've been the points leader for 7 straight months now, since March, and I would like to keep that streak going, but it's going to become very, very difficult after October, if I even manage to finish in front of Giovanni and Connor. So I'm going to have to lock in like I've never locked in before. So here we go. This is Q2 once again. Q1 best was a 24.787, which this month wasn't enough to put us in Group A, but of course you never want to settle. So I'm going to see what I could do with this cart here. But I already feel it understeering like crazy, and it's not even really going that fast on lap 1. And, you know, like I've mentioned before, you can't really gauge how quick a cart is on lap 1, but you know, when you know, you know. I'm already being pushed from behind, so I'm gonna let these guys pass me here and try my best to keep up with them afterwards. I oversteer nearly into that first hairpin after being pushed, and I'm not sure what that guy in front of me was pointing at, but we're gonna try to keep up with this small pack right here, who can manage to keep the track warm for me. But this lap is scrap. I mean, I let him by, so we're gonna have a couple of seconds taken off of our time here at 28.2 right there. So carry about lap 2. We're already on lap 3, and you can hear the tires screeching like crazy. And like I said, it's really not going all that fast. They're already creating a gap on me, and yeah, it's looking pretty rough, dude. I mean, I'm trying to look at these guys in front of me and you know, kind of see where I'm losing time on them, but it seems to be just absolutely everywhere. If I'm not right behind them at these sharp corners, I can't really see, you know, what line they're taking and all that. And I know that the track conditions have been very what's the word? What's that word I'm looking for, dude? Arbitrary. There we go. I knew it started with an A. Yeah, they've just been varying throughout the year, especially when you compare the first 6 months to these last 3 months. Especially with how hot it's been, with the shutters still open. The racing line is changing. You know, the way people are hot lapping is changing, and it's pretty difficult to judge, especially when you're only here once a month. And you can see I haven't even broken you know, a sub 25 lap time yet, and we're already halfway through this qualifying session. So it's starting to look grim for this cart. I mean, it's still oversteering into the last corner. You know, I think half of that is on me, but this cart it's just not performing optimally, and it almost feels like it's dying. I mean, it's not getting any slower, but you know, there's just no power in this thing. I'm shaking my head. I keep looking at the leaderboard, and my name is towards the bottom, and this is easily the fastest group out of the 3 that were there that weekend. And you know, the one bad thing about making these videos towards the end of the month is that the details kind of blur after a while. You know, if I made this a couple of days after I got back, I'm sure I would have been able to mention everything, but there really wasn't going to be much for me to say other than, you know, this car just wasn't it. The last lap was a 25.16. But I'm still getting pushed by this guy behind me, so I'll let him by as well. I try to warm up the tires, but it's really just minimal gains, if anything. This lap is also scrapped, so really running out of answers. And after this weekend, I just had, you know, had questions in my mind, and there were decisions that were questionable. But yeah, I mean, there really isn't much to say here. I'm sure a lot of you regulars can see just how slow this thing is. Tried pushing it, and you know, might have pushed a little too much in this last corner here at times, but it's definitely it was definitely rough. And you know, I was thinking, okay, well, this 24/7, you know, I'm glad that I got that in the first qualifying at least. This was the last qualifying of the day for all groups, and I don't think there was many people that hit, you know, better than a 24/7 to finish in Group A. I think I only got, you know, maybe one guy that beat my time in Q2. So we were still going to be in Group A, and I was thinking, okay, well, we can get a better kart than this, and we can capitalize, because that's what I'm going to have to do. We can't afford to be sitting in the back of Group A anymore. If we have a bad kart, we're going to have to do what we can, you know. And, well, what the heck happens, dude? What the heck happens? What kart do I get put in? That exact same kart you guys just witnessed me drive for 12 laps. Kart 23. This is kart 23. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but this is kart 23. And I was mind-boggled. I mean, the absolute atrocity that is luck that has cursed me these past couple months, you know, minus July. It's just crazy to me. So we're starting in 9th in Group A. Gonna have to get some positions going here almost immediately, but the way you guys saw this kart handle, it's going to be very, very rough. We get a better start here than the guy in 8th. I try to push myself into the first corner. We're going to have to keep up with this group here, but we get a yellow flag immediately, and you're going to see off to your left right here real quick. Someone got spun out at the first corner. So that was like a minute and a half worth of waiting. And we get back, and I try to squeeze my way back in, and I swear I was in front of this guy as the yellow went out, but we don't get that 8th position. We can't defend that, so we're going to have to make do with 9th for now. And you can see here as well, just everybody is starting to gap back here. I'm not even in the mid-pack. I'm at the front of the back, basically. It's really rare for a kart to be turned off and perform way better when it's turned back on without any mechanical work done to it. And well, I mean, this wasn't the case. This kart was performing the exact same way, if not worse. And if you look at the timesheets after the race ended, I had the worst lap average, and it was messed up a couple of times by 2 yellows, but you know, even then, it was really bad. And it didn't help that I had to defend against the 3 guys behind me, you know, because even though they qualified behind me, their karts were easily quicker than mine. I think once again I had the worst kart in the field by far. So, you know, as these laps go on, you're going to see me looking behind me more and more. It's only lap 4, and I'm having all these thoughts in my head, you know? Like, I really, really can't finish last. My car's it's still oversteering, it's still understeering, when it needs to be doing vice versa. And I just can't seem to find any power behind this. I can't seem to find like a nice line. And like I said, I'm I'm going to have to start defending from behind me, which is going to stop me from advancing up front, even if this thing did have speed. We're not even halfway through the race, and I'm about a quarter behind the guy in 8th. So this is basically where we're going to have to, unless there's a big crash and the yellow comes out late, this is where we're going to have to settle in for the remainder of the race. And I would say the guy in 10th is maybe a 2 carts length behind me by this point. So we're having another race. I think this is the 3rd race in a row we're having to defend because our car just isn't quick enough. And seem to be oversteering into that last corner just every single lap. And it's getting old real quick. The way I'm braking, it has to be an early brake, but it also has to give me an angle for a decent exit, because if I miss an exit, I'm going to get passed on the inside or the outside or what have you, depending on where the corner is. This is where I really don't want to get passed right here. This guy's right behind me. I mean, I'm checking behind me like, 3 times every 2 seconds. And you saw his front bumper right there for a split second. And I'm doing what I can. He clearly has more power than I am, but I'm trying to cover the inside as much as possible. I mean, I'm not even looking straight. I'm looking to the left. Still not there, but I'm taking the worst line possible just to stop him from passing me. And it's getting super, super bad. But we have 4 laps left, and we can still, based on how I've been defending him, I can finish in 9th. And from what I remember, Connor and Giovanni were definitely up front this entire race. We got another yellow, and I'm not sure what it was for. I think somebody got spun out around the beginning of the 3-point turn, but it was a very short yellow. And we go back green, and gosh, dude, I mean, the car just felt so slow in launch. I get hit out of the way by 10th, and I try to squeeze back in, but it's just not enough. And it's not just him, it's the other 2 guys behind me. And I mean, look at this speed difference right here. I mean, you really can't make it up. So I try to keep up with card 47 right here and see if I can at least salvage, 1 spot here, because I mean, we're talking a whole 10 points at least if Connor and Giovanni finish on the podium, if I end up finishing in last place. So I see my chance right here. Suddenly these guys are neck and neck. And I get back into 11th. But I don't even have enough speed to keep up with them out of that corner. And I have to back up again. I don't really have a choice there. So at this point, I'm just flabbergasted, dude. I'm bamboozled. I'm just dead in the brain, dude. I'm like, what have I done? What do I do? Of course you're going to have months like this. You're going to have really bad months. You're going to have really good months. And I've had both this year so far, and we're only 9 months in. And I say only because I feel like 3 more months is still so much. Anything can happen in the last 3 months. But this race was only 14 laps. I don't think it would have changed much if it was 16, 17 like last month was. So here are the Group A race results, and I want you guys to pay attention to those green names because those are who I'm fighting with in the top 3 right now. That's how many points they got on me. Connor got 10, Giovanni got 9, and these are the standings after the race. Just like a few guys that have moved in the bottom half of the top 10 here. Nothing too crazy. We have Travis that went all the way up to 6th. yeah, after I think it was a couple months ago that it didn't count as points for the race, which is kind of crazy. But here's where I'm really looking at. I mean, I'm only somehow I'm still in the lead. I'm only 3 points in front of Giovanni, 4 points in front of Connor. So by this point, if I can't finish in front of him next month, I will no longer have the lead. And this is a point I didn't want it to get to, but that's just how racing goes, man. So yeah, I'll have to completely lock in next month. I probably won't smile a single time until after the race, and I hope they're the biggest smiles I've had this year so far. So I'll see you guys next month.